Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to Monday morning Warhammer Fantasy Age of Sigmar. We've still not found a name for it. We don't know what it's going to be called. But welcome. How you doing? I hope you're well. We've had a fantastic weekend. You're all recovered. It is now Monday. It's wet outside, but it seems to be kind of hot at the same time, which is really annoying. So I'm sweating away while it's wet and miserable. Who knew? Anyway, what have I been working on? Well, this weekend I managed to get my commandos finished, ready for Wednesday's video, because we talked about Warlord Wednesday. We're doing commandos, which is pretty good. So we're going to do a whole thing on these because I kind of like the idea of commandos, playing around with them, maybe some of the characters as well. There's some fantastic characters. I started a Iron Hands project, so got this guy built and put together, and I managed to get these guys done as well, which is pretty cool. So they're all ready to go. I've got a load of Iron Hands to paint up, and I'm going to stick them up on eBay. But most of my weekend was spent working on this guy. Okay, so if you haven't known or not been following my Facebook stuff, I've now got to the outside of it all. So I've just got to start. Today we're going to be painting on this basically, and building a stand for it at the same time. Now, I was quite disappointed with this model. This is an Academy model. It's a beautiful model kit. I had a really great time building it, up until the point where my glue reacted with the glass in the doors, and it just became frosted on both sides, and it kind of ruined it, which I was really gutted about. It kind of ruined it for me, but I mean, there's ways to save it. I might have to just paint out the windows, I don't know. But I've managed to put the gunners in. I've also managed to put the, you can't really see it, the crew in the inside. They're all painted up. But it's a really great little model. I've got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed making it. I've got a thing for the old Narm, as some of you may know. I'm kind of interested in it. So I'm going to do like a paddy field type base. So I'm working on that at the moment. I don't know whether to have it angled, sort of flying over like that, as though it's just taken off, or have it tipped slightly. You can't really see it like that, but have it tipped like that, as though it's turning. I don't know. I just don't know. And the thing with static props is, or static props, helicopter props, is they just look really weird when they're just really straight. So I don't know yet. I'm still sort of trying to decide what I'm going to do here, but I kind of like it, yeah. So the idea is to build up a NARM force, all helicopters, fly them in, and then deploy, sort of thing. So I kind of like that. I'm hoping that someone comes up with a really, really cool NARM game. They really need to make it. There's some miniatures out there on the market. Nothing that's really sort of made me go wow, except for the gun crew. They're pretty good, and actually the helicopter crew are pretty cool as well. But apart from that, I've been sort of quite busy just getting on with things. You can see like the place is a bit of a mess at the moment, unfortunately, because I've just got so much to do. But that's what I've been up to, and playing Ark, of course, which was my favourite game. And I'm looking forward to No Man's Sky now, which sounds quite cool. We can travel around without running into anybody for a very, very long time. Okay, so let's talk about painting the base. Oh, somebody wanted to see how the standard bearer turned out. So there he is. That's what I did with him. It was a cool mini. I've got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed doing this. I've got to say, I'm still struggling with the colour scheme with the Ultramarines. I'm still not too happy. So I think I need to do a few more tests. I hate like the Tron effect that people do. It just, for me, is just like a real basic way of painting. I just wish I could find something that really happy. But I've got to say, thoroughly enjoying it. They've got more of the look from the animated movie than they have at the actual basic colour scheme, the Ultramarine colour scheme. So that's kind of cool. As long as I'm happy with it at the end of the day, that'll keep me rocking and rolling. Okay, so we're going to talk about the base today. So how have I done this? Well, I've been busy. I've created sand and PVA. This is all it is, with bits and pieces in it. Now, what I've done is when it's starting to set, I've just run my finger down, smoothed it over like so, and again, just got a cotton bud to clean it up. And then what I've done is I've let it set, and then I've coated it in a PVA. And then what I've just done now is hit it with a brown over the top. So I had a brown base coat, then another brown on top of that, and we're going to look at knocking this back with different effects, mostly through weathering liquids, which is also really, really cool. But first of all, we want to get our stones and stuff like that, because there's always a bit of stones, and we're going to be using some nice sort of like grasses to go on the top, so we get that sort of growing out the ground type of thing. As usual, got my iPad next to me, so we can look at researching how they look. So we're going to look up paddy fields. I'll probably get some guy called Paddy who owns a field now, which is just sod law. Okay, let's have a look. Paddy fields, and I'm just looking up in Google as usual. Oh wow, now these are pretty cool. These are pretty cool. Now I should be putting them up there, but I'm not too sure how to sling the images up. That's where I need another person to help me. But it looks kind of interesting. So we're looking for long grass that will line along the tops, and then what we'll do is we'll fill water effects into the bottom part of it. I just wanted something basically to break up the look. Now, obviously, I could just do a basic basing. I'm doing a NARM style army. These, I need more of these. I need more of these. I've tried the Rebel. I think it's the Rebel kit. I think it's the Rebel kit. Hold on, let me just have a look. I've got to say, yeah, I tried this Rebel kit, and I've got to say it was the worst kit in the world to put together. It's a real flimsy kit. It just squeezes, and it just doesn't come together nicely. I mean, for example, there were so many separate pieces just to make up the front. It wasn't nice. At least this had basically the two side pieces that just sort of clip together, so all you had to do is then slot the glass in. That was much nicer and easier to use. All this was just a pain in the backside, which is a real shame, because I kind of wanted to give this one a go. So I bought a couple of these hoping that they would be perfect, but they weren't, unfortunately. So I'm going to give that a miss, which is a complete shame. Okay, so for this we're going to need some weathering liquids. We're going to need stuff like muddy effects, and for this I'm going to use MIG. I think I've got my MIG. Where is it? Dark mud. There we go. So we've got dark mud. I'm wearing my painting trousers, so if you just saw those, I do apologise. They're not the nicest things in the world. Okay, so we've got dark mud, and we've got now these are by MIG Ammo. They're really, really beautiful, and the nice thing about these is we can coat these on, and we can wipe away as well. So I'm going to start off with this is not even 40k or Fantasy Monday, is it? We're not doing any 40k, but we will next time, I promise. Today I'm just doing some modeling projects, and I wanted to catch up with everybody. But we can talk 40k, can't we? So, Warlord Titan, I really want one. It's my birthday coming up, and I'm trying to convince people that it's a really good idea to get me a Warlord Titan. And so far, it's only been laughed at and mocked by my mates and every family member that I've spoken to. So there you go. But the Warlord Titan, is it over extreme? Is it something that's just only going to come out to the table once in a blue moon? I mean, we've all wanted it. I mean, I've wanted it for a long time, and I've got to say I was very, very excited when they announced it, and I did get a little bit of a heads up from people, but I've got to say I was absolutely stoked. I was kind of hoping they were going to go for the traditional original type Warlord, but I'm not fussy whatsoever as long as the Warlord came out, and it was really cool. So I'm kind of hoping there's going to be some variants, some chaos version later down the line, or even add-ons that you can buy to create a certain type of Warlord, like one that's in the books, for example. that would look really, really nice. It'd be nice if they did that sort of thing. Also, plastic Space Marines still pushing on. I'm still reading little articles here and there where people are saying that they're definitely coming. Obviously, I've seen some of the photographs. Bella Lost Souls, the best place for great spoilers. It gives you everything you need to know on what's coming up very, very soon, which is a bit of a shame. Sometimes I just wish I didn't see stuff just so I could be a bit more surprised and blown away. But it's nice to see stuff, isn't it, when it pops up. Yeah, I don't know, there's loads and loads of stuff. I'm a bit wary about how it's all going to go. Heresy Future, I'm hoping that we're going to see more characters coming out, because we need more characters. There's loads of brilliant army set pieces and stuff like that, loads of Space Marine parts. It's nice to see all the chapters coming together, or legions I should say, but more characters. It'd be nice to see more characters, and more creatures as well, because there's a lot of creatures through the books that we keep reading about as well. Mutations and stuff, and creatures, Xeno type creatures from the warp, which is going to be really cool. Yeah, so been very, very busy. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, you can do this for your own 40k base as well. It kind of works. I mean, it is a 40k base, so there you go. Okay, so I'm just painting on stones. Okay, just creating some stones. You don't have to put it all over it, because if it's a field, they're gonna clean it up. There's not going to be that many stones in there, but it's a nice effect that we're going to create. Now we've got to let that dry for a second or two. It shouldn't take long, and then we're going to do some other bits and pieces while we wait. So what else am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm going to be building these guys, more Iron Hand Terminators as well. I do loads of different type armies, paint ups and stuff, just so I can learn about them, because it's nice to get that, isn't it? You can see the different painting styles. I think it sort of pushes you forward a bit with your style of painting. And also, I've just finished this guy. I've got to say, that's a really beautiful model. I thoroughly enjoyed painting that. And I've gone for sort of like a very Dracula type face. And you can't really see it because I've got to say the cameras on these are pretty bad. But yeah, really, really nice. And I've got to say, I wish Imperial Fist this way in the beginning, because I'd still probably be doing Imperial Fist. Basically, I sprayed it silver. Then I hit it with a chipping fluid. And if you don't know what chipping fluid, AK Interactive do chipping fluids, and so do MIG. MIG ammo. And what you can do with that is you can literally coat it. It creates a layer between the paint and the next layer of paint you're going to put on. So I put on a yellow, and then you can just, when it's dry, just get a toothbrush or earbud and just wet it slightly and just scrub away at it, and it just lets the metal paint come through. And then when you've washed it, you can highlight it, and it looks absolutely brilliant. So dark mud or earth. Now I'm thinking we'll go earth for the higher pieces, and then dark mud for the dips. So we're going to be using this, which is dark, which is earth. We'll get there in the end. We're going to be using this. Actually, let me just drop some of these cameras down, these lights down, sorry. It might even help because they're glaring away. Okay, so this is earth. This is by MIG Ammo. And I've got to say, it's their weathering liquids. And I pretty much use this stuff all the time now. I've pretty much given up on weathering powders, except for like little bits of rust and stuff. Because I find it so much easier to use. It's a lot cleaner, and it's a lot more fun as well. So we're going to give it a go. Here we go. So what I do is take my paintbrush, give it a good shake beforehand, make sure the lid's on, and then what you do is you just coat it over the top, like so, in the areas that you want, like so. Nice and easy to do. It's a shame it's so bright in here, and that camera's really naff. once I figure out how to wire up my camera to this, I'll do it better next time. We'll do better next time. Okay. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our cloth, and I like to use an old t-shirt. It's just, I need to get rid of stuff that I don't wear anymore, and they make perfect rags. And what we do is we're just going to wipe away. It's a long process because what we're doing is we're just breaking down that colour. So we'll just take bits away from it. Let's just take a bit more, run it over the top. So, blah, blah, blah. A little bit on there. Always good. There we go. I've actually left some food cooking. That's not a good thing to do when you're about to do a broadcast for 10 minutes. Hopefully, by the time I get back to it, it won't be ruined or burnt. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so we're just going to take away. Blah blah blah. All done. So I went to see a computer game last week. I can't tell you what it is because it'll be announced on the 1st of September, and then you'll see it on this channel on the 4th. But I'm very excited by it. It's hobby related, which is really, really cool. And because I like my computer games, I'm I'm going to be well up for that. Now, we did talk about giving away some free keys as well for you guys. So if you're on Steam, you'll get a chance to win some when the game comes out. It is cool. And I've got to say, I'm very, very excited. Now, also on the 3rd of September, I'm off to the Prop Store of London. Now, if you quickly look that up, you're going to be amazed by it. Prop Store of London is one of my favourite people anyway. I've known the owner for a very long time. And the nice thing about it is he has models at his place that have been in different movies. And I've been talking about this for a while. We've finally got a date booked. So we're going to it. Just got a confirmation this morning. So we're going to go down there, we're going to film that, we're going to look at all the lovely bits and pieces they've got in there, from Star Wars to Chronicles of Riddick to all the other great movies that are out there, Terminator, anything. We'll see what's out there basically, and we'll have a good look at that and film all around that place. And they've got some events coming up, which are quite exciting as well. So we're gonna talk a lot about that. We've also got an interview with an old special effects friend of mine, and I think these are really quite interesting because it gives you the chance to see how they do process stuff. So model making, when they're doing their models, how they put things together. It gives you a chance to see how those things work, because sometimes you'll be fooled by something that you think is really detailed and it's not. It's just the way it looks and the way it's been painted, the way it's been lit. So it's absolutely amazing to see firsthand. So we'll be able to go and see that. That's coming up. I've got to get a haircut because I'm starting to look like my dad. Which is really bad. I kind of had a good workout. I've been quite lazy lately for the gym, as you can see. But I went today to work on back. That was really good fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm getting back into my gym stuff. I had like a couple of weeks off just to sort of chill out because I've got so much going on at the moment. What with life and work and stuff like that. I've got my favourite dog down there. He's asleep on the floor. So yeah, no, it's been okay. I haven't done anything on my demon that's been sitting there. I managed to, this was annoying. I just glued a base onto the dragon because I was going to sit down and start painting it. And I managed to knock it, when I stood up, knock it off the table, and I smashed both its wings off. I'm missing a horn still, and one of the tongues are missing. So I've got to tidy up in here today, and I've got to look for it, which I was really, really annoyed. But I mean, it's just one of those things. They were pinned, but it hit the floor so hard that it just shattered, basically. What can you do? One of those things. But yeah, my ultramarines are coming along. I managed to get some parts for my ultramarines. I'm going for a very sort of like, I'm basing them on colour scheme. I think really I'm going to go for ultramarines from the movie. I love that sort of dark blue. I want to get them more sort of Romanesque, the way they look, sort of thing. But I mean, the first unit that I did was a really good sort of tester unit. Like I said earlier, I'm still sort of struggling with the main colours and stuff like that. But I think that's as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, or talking at you guys, I'm just going to sort of go with that process and just sort of try to slowly put those together and go for that Roman look. So it'd be kind of nice to try and get some sort of bits and pieces, maybe talk to some people, see if I can get just to give them that look, and maybe some tabards and stuff. I don't know, not tabards, but sort of like the leathery things that hang down, leathery skirts, whatever they're called, who knows. But yeah, so there's all that sort of coming along. I started painting this up as well, which was, so I started painting this up, and if you don't know what this is basically like a huge flamethrower tank, which is just one big flame gun at the front. There you go, tank with a massive flamethrower, and this that follows it around. So for this I've been using, I've just sprayed the tracks up. What I'm going to do is I'll tape those up, and then I'll add a colour scheme. Now the last one was grey. I'm going to go for probably green with this one, because I kind of like the idea of green and golds, and it could be a support vehicle, allied force vehicle for the salamanders, which would be quite cool. So if I get that all painted up with greens and golds, it kind of fits in well for that. Nice as well. I've got to say, this slots in really, really well. You know, there you go. And it's actually quite, saying that it's going to fall out now, it's quite sturdy. So that's the next paint up. Vehicle wise, I've still got loads and loads to do. I keep starting things and putting them aside. Like the helicopter I started like months ago. You know, if you haven't seen the video, if you haven't seen the stuff earlier, here's the video from here's the helicopter here. I'm really gutted about, I didn't even see it, but the glass just went wrong at the back. It just got frosted. And it's a really lovely model, but some bits I just found difficult to glue. Stuff just would not fix together. Now I used all plastic glue on this. I taped it. I used pins as well, little pincer things that hold it together. You know, I left it for like a day, came back to it the next day, and it's just not happening. So I'm working on the rotors at the moment. I'm going to do a yellow band either side. This is for a project that I'm trying to put together, like a Vietnam project that I want to do, because I love my Vietnam stuff. If a company makes a Vietnam game that's really, really cool, I'm going to do I'll have one day dedicated to that game, as long as it's a really cool game. Because what I'm finding is now is we're subjected to all these difficult games, and I don't want difficult games. The older I get, the more I want easygoing games, and I don't know if everybody else is like that. I don't want to have to think about playing a game. I want to just enjoy it. You know, the only thinking you should be doing is tactically. You shouldn't be thinking about, oh, is that wrong on page 36 or page 210? I just want it nice and simple. And I think people are starting to realise that they want simple gaming, much more fun. So yes, it's all coming around. No Man's Sky, if you've been looking at that, wow, that is amazing. Procedural worlds, universe, you go from space, atmosphere to planet, one go, no loading screen, it's just boom, 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 and it loads it in as you come along. So it's literally just going as you're coming in. And if you find that one planet, you can then name it. You can name the creatures and stuff like that. I love that. I love that. I'm looking forward to the next updates on Ark as well. Not a lot of you are guessing are game fans and stuff like that, but I've got to say I love my computer games. I get very passionate and irate on there because it's something I enjoy. I just, I want to enjoy it because I think life, as difficult as it is, you need that time to enjoy, don't you? Just chill out and have some fun. So that's pretty cool. TV series. Let's talk TV series at the moment while we're waiting for stuff to dry. And we're working on this at the moment. So it's a bit of basing techniques we're doing today. That's what we're working on. If I run downstairs because the fire alarm goes off, that's because I've got stuff cooking and I forgot about it before I started this. And I'm wearing my painting trousers. There you go, big holes in them. So, TV series. Fear the Walking Dead came out last night. Touch with the Walking Dead after season 2. after that, I just lost track of it. I got bored, I suppose. It's like Heroes. When Heroes came out, I got really bored, because it was just extended. Lost. What a total lump of pop that was. I just got bored of that. We all knew they were dead. If I've spoiled it for you, if you've never seen it before and you just started watching it, I do apologise. But I don't know, there's a lot out there. The Flash I really love. That's kind of cool. I've got to say, because I love the original comic book character, so it was nice to see a TV version. They did do a movie of the Flash a long time ago. That was really hysterical. But it's nice to see a different interpretation on it. And I was a bit wary at first with the guy playing it, the young kid playing it. I say young kid because I'm 40 old, and anybody's young to me at the moment. But when I'm watching it, I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've loved watching all the different characters coming into it. The Gotham, big fan of that. Got to say, really enjoying that. I mean, there's a whole controversy about the Joker, isn't there? Because didn't that kid that everybody thought was the Joker turned up at Comic-Con and burst into the talk that they were given, shouting out, he's the Joker, or something like that, and they got escorted out? I don't know. I really want to do a Comic-Con. That's what I really want to go to, is Comic-Con. I'll also do a Gen Con as well. I'd love to go to those. Wouldn't that be cool? I'd love to go and just meet other people that do this hobby. But yeah, there's so much great TV out there. What was the one that I watched the other day? Oh, big fan of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That is hilarious. You got I feel for the characters. I feel for the people that have to interact with those characters. So yeah, so there's loads of great stuff out there. I gave up on a load of TV that was just boring me to death, because I tend to watch everything on my iPad or my computer, in my studio, just painting. As you can see, loads of crap behind you. I actually tidied it all up. And that's going soon as well. So I'm trying to get one big game out of it. But I tend to sit here, paint series from back to back. I'm not sure if you guys do that. I just don't bother with the TV. I just start watching it and then go, boom, first season done. Then I watch the next season. Because I was talking to some people yesterday and they were saying, like, Vikings, that's supposed to be quite cool. So I'm going to have to give that a go. Okay, so that is drying. Now we're going to add, we can actually add in our darker colour, which is dark mud. So again, this is by Ammo. It's part of the Nature Effects, liquid effects, basically. But this is the Nature Effects, which is kind of cool. And it is nice, I've got to say. I do like using this stuff. But I mean, the AK Interactive stuff's good as well, but I do like using this. There's just some colours that are sweet. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be laying it down the crack. Can I say that without laughing? I was editing a video the other day, it had Alessio in it, and he made reference to getting the boys going, which made me giggle. And every time I hear him say that now, I just, I'm in giggles, fits of laughter. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm breaking this up. You can't really see it too well because this light is just dreadful. But I'm going into the gaps, so it's darker in the gaps. I was going to say, if I could, no, I can't change that light. It means I'd have to rearrange everything. So I've got a big light on up there, which is my painting lights that lights up this whole room. Unfortunately, it's a little bit dark. Okay, so what we're doing is we're filling in the gaps. So remember, you're going in the gaps. You can kind of see it where it's light on the top than it is at the bottom. So we want it darker in here, okay? So that's what we're doing. So we've got to leave that to dry for a second. I don't know about you, but I've got to say I've been pleasantly surprised by some of the channel's work lately. There's been some really great people doing some beautiful, beautiful things. I'm interested to see how, let's just cancel that. And let's go to, where is it? I found a really beautiful video the other day that really found really cool. Most of my stuff, like, I try to subscribe as many people as possible, but most of my stuff is all bodybuilding and all sports, fitness and stuff. You wouldn't believe it though. Okay, so we've got the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Chaos and Dread hold that's come out, which is basically a massive tile, I think. I've not watched the video yet, but it's there. I've seen photographs of it. But it's like star type building, like Chaos star type building. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I love the idea of Sigmar. I love the fact that it's only like 4 pages rules, so that's really cool. We're focusing only on that. But I don't know, just, you know, they've got some beautiful scenery originally that they made, which was really nice. I don't know if you guys are into scenery, but there was some beautiful scenery that was made, which I just thoroughly enjoyed. And I'm kind of hoping they keep that going. I haven't been into a GW store in a long time, so I don't know what's still there. But I remember when they used to do stuff, they used to rip everything off the shelf and replace it with all the new stuff. So I'm kind of hoping that it's kind of they're still doing it, because it does, it deserves to be there. Does anybody ever play like World of Tanks? I haven't tried that yet. I've been playing War Thunder, which I thoroughly enjoy. Really great game. Haven't been back to it in a while, and I should do. But who is it I was looking at? Oh yeah, Oberon 76. He's just doing a video on his Iron Warriors, which was really nice. And then there was, who else was it? Which was that I noticed the other day, which looked really cool. Oh yeah, it was the Roman Legionnaire. It was 140, 54 millimeter scale, and it was by Hamilcar Barkus. Terrible. Hamikar, and then its surname is Barkus, Barkas. Now I really enjoyed this. It looked really cool. Yeah, looked really cool. But there's loads of little bits and pieces that keep popping up. I have to keep a real watch on my feeds, because sometimes I miss everything. And what YouTube tend to do, if you don't sort of pay attention to stuff, it disappears out of your feeds, even though you are still subscribed to it. You just don't notice it as much. And I've got like, I don't know, 300, maybe 400 channels that I subscribe to, and keep adding them on a daily basis. I always find this really good for like everything that I want to research YouTube, because it's always going to be on there. Which is really nice. So what else? There's tons that I want to talk to you about, but unfortunately I can't tell you stuff yet until it's done. I am going to see a few other computer games as well, and record those, and they're all GW related, which is really nice. It's all game related anyway, our games that we love. So yeah, no, there's absolutely tons of stuff. Let me have a look at the questions. I've got about a few people here that have left questions, but I can't activate them or see them, which is a real shame. I don't know how to operate this yet. I really should get this going. It's all changed since the normal Google Hangout. We used to just press a button and it used to go YouTube Live. Boom, there you go. They've got to encode everything, which I just don't understand how that works. It's a pain in the backside. But let's talk Vietnam. Okay, it's not 40k related, but we're doing this, it's 40k related. So Vietnam stuff. I want them to make a game, a really good Vietnam game. But I want a really cool Vietnam game. Something I can really have fun with and build some great units up with. I've also got like all the gear this year. So if you're in England and you know any decent events or any decent places to go to, let me know, because I'll have them in the comments down below, because who knows, I might turn up with a few other people. Might be a giggle. But I kind of used to like the weekender stuff. We used to do quite a lot of like non-stop things, like weekender events back in the day, which was really cool. But I really need to get some done. I really need to get some out there and play around and run around, which is always good fun. Don't forget though to do the competition, or don't forget to get involved in the competition for the Warlord Games one, which was the 40th episode. So if you skip down my channel and find that, it's got all the information you need. What you got to do is paint up a tank, World War II tank, bolt action range, get it painted, send it in and photograph it to competitions@warlordgames.com. Check the thing on my video, 40th episode. It's all in there. and you can win some really cool stuff, which is quite exciting. Okay, so we're now going to get our cotton buds. There's our cotton buds. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, you can just about see that. I'll sort out the lighting for next time I do a live video. I'm just going to run it down there, like so, and in there, and just do that with it. Da da da. It's nice and easy. I've got to say, this is what I use my cotton buds for. A little bit of blending and a little bit of cleaning up here and there. Somebody asked me the other day, do I watch football? No. Do you like football? No. I do like my rugby though. Not really a football fan. There we go. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so you should see some dark in the center there. So that's what we're starting to get. I want to bring this closer, but this video camera is not very good. Okay, so there you go. So there you go. So it's darker in the center than it is on the top. I've got to let that dry. Unfortunately, this is going to take a while to dry. We're not going to be on for that long for this to dry. But the process is this. Once we let this dry, we dry brush the top with a lighter brown. Then what we do is we hit it with a lighter weathering liquid, so like a cracked mud lighter type effect. So we're looking for something like, I don't know, like cursed earth is really nice. And you just run that along the top, and then you just clean that away. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in some water effects in here. And what I do is I grab some blue tack and I run it all the way around, so I build like a little wall, or sellotape works, or masking tape and stuff like that. You just need to create a seal basically. So I'm going to run some water effects in here, like so, just to build up a little bit of a layer, not too much, but a little bit. It will taper down at the edge, because it always do. You're going to lose some, it's just going to happen. But what I'm going to do is just create like some puddles and stuff like that in there, just to show that there's some water in there. Then when that's dry, we're going to run in our leafy crops, either on the top. I mean, we probably put them on the top, to be fair. I mean, I'm just looking at the paddy fields online. It's great that I'm looking at paddy fields online, and most of the time they're just all water with the grass in there, but some of them are done like where they're arranged along the top section, so the water's soaked up. I don't know why they do it like, but it's just the way they do it. So that's kind of interesting. And we're not going to be using long grasses, we'll use short grasses as well, but spiky grasses, which will be quite nice. And it's just to give a themed look, and make it look something different to the normal bases that we have. Okay, so what's next? What else can we talk about? I can't even find how to get the questions up on this, so I do apologise. And I'm going to look on my Facebook. Where is it? What Facebook? Sorry, on my. I'm not with it at all today. On my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to see if anything's popping up there. Because last time I don't think anything happened at all. No, I'm not going to be able to see it until it's loaded up, or until this video is finished. But we could talk about some of the other bits and pieces that have been popping up. Well, that's interesting. Oh, okay, cool. Well, there's some stuff coming up. Which is your favourite army? Favourite army in 40k, right? Favourite army in 40k. If it's just fluff base, it's going to be World Eaters. Fluff base are amazing. Or maybe Thousand Suns. I think it's easy to go for Space Wolves because there's just so much fluff, so much gorgeous fluff in their history and stuff like that. What have I got here? It's the little thing with the square top right corner. Oh, there you go. Where is that? I can't see it. Little thing top left hand corner. Okay. What's it say there? That was my mate Dreadlon just jumped in there and said, "You've got to press this button in order to activate the buttons." Oh dear, I've done something and I don't know what it is. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's all technical to me. I won't press any more things just in case I kill it, because you never know. I do have that habit. I'm just going to say cheers, dude. Right. Yeah, I've got to say it's over 1,000 Suns because I love their story, because I don't think he really wanted to. I don't think he was trying to break the rules. Magnus, I don't think he was trying to break the rules. He was just trying to sort of say, you know, this is happening. You need to be aware of it. And the only way he could contact the Emperor was to break the spells that, you know, all that psychic power thing, shield thing that protects the palace, in order to get to the Emperor. So I think sorry, I've got Dreadlun sending me weird messages. I've got to look away from that now. That is just bizarre. I don't think he really wanted to do it. So I kind of like their story, because there was not really portrayal. All he ever wanted to do was save his sons, you know, his Space Marine army. That's what he wanted to do, was stop them from being turned into chaos, you know, spawns and stuff like that, or to spawns and stuff. And then again, I kind of like, you know, the fact that the World Eaters, they're not really bad guys. Well, yeah, they are, but they're not really bad guys. The fact is that all they want to do is understand their father, who's obviously, you know, I forgot his name now. But he doesn't. I feel sorry for him for the pure fact that he was taken away from his death. He was taken away from his brothers and sisters, you know, the people that he fought with. I say brothers and sisters, they're his brothers and sisters, not actually relations, but from the people that were with him, you know, when all the slaves and gladiators. I mean, it's a bit of a Spartacus story, really, isn't it? You know, when they revolted and went against their masters, and the night that there was that last battle, which a lot of them were going to die, pretty much all of them were going to die, the Emperor pulls him away and refuses him his death. So I can see why he's upset and why he was easily tainted and easily turned, because it just took everything away from him that he thought was right. So I kind of like these moral stories to each one of these different legions and their primarchs. And the more and more you read, I think, with the good guys, you start to think actually there's a bit of a git, you know, for example, poor old Rogel Dawn, who, you know, deep down inside, my heart is a fist. That's wrong. Okay, my heart is shaped like a fist. I love the Imperial Fists. Now, the hard thing about the Imperial Fists is the way they're portrayed in the books. Because I kind of think that when you're building your armies, you have your own sort of interpretations, because you read all the fluff, and in your head, this is how it works and stuff. And the hardest part is when you read an official statement, you think, oh, that's really crap. You know, what they've done there, I wouldn't have done that like that. I would have given them this and given it. And everything I've ever read or listened to of the Imperial Fist just makes Rogel Dawn sound like a real sort of miserable teenager, throwing a wobbly all the time. You know, so I kind of want them to really step up the Imperial Fist, and I think we'll see them more now, kicking ass and more so back on the home world, which should be quite cool. Because effectively, it's lockdown now, isn't it, on the Imperial Palace? They're literally just lockdown terror, and they're just turning it into one big fortress. Because the whole planet's like a massive city now. Earth has just been turned into a city. Which is kind of cool, because it kind of reminds me of Coruscant, when you're like in the Star Wars universe, where it's just the whole planet is just one big city. And yeah, that's kind of cool. So you've got that to Earth now. Whenever they talk about mountain ranges and stuff like that, there's not that many because they've been built on top. I mean, the Himalayas are now where the palace is, you know, so that's gone. It's just one massive palace now. So I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm often wrong. Or as my mum used to say, you like to think you're right, but you're not. But she doesn't play 40k. She doesn't know what she's talking about. But there's a lot of stuff I'm hoping that we'll see more of. So have a bit of a coffee. Good coffee. Cheap, nasty coffee. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping we're going to see more and more stuff popping up that's more related to Terra, because I think we need to see what's happening more on Terra. I know they've done a lot of stuff that's based on Ultramar, which has been really cool, because there's effectively, I think, a 7-year gap between Ultramar and Earth, Terra. Like, there's this huge gap. When I was talking to one of the writers, he was saying that they're literally going to have to slot in and create loads of stuff for that gap. So does that mean that we're never really going to see the Siege of Terra? To be fair, I don't want to be playing this game when I'm 50 or 60. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't want to be collecting the books and buying tons of stuff when I'm like 60 years old, because I kind of have it in my head that I'm going to be able to stand in my garden and just shout at kids just for being noisy. That's where I'm heading. That's where I'm going with stuff. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm kind of hoping that they do a really sort of simplified version, because I mean, they can keep pushing out the books, but when are we going to see the Siege of Terra? When are we going to see the story that we really want? And we know that the first 3 writers are going to be the last 3 writers. So Dan Abnett, the other guy, Aaron Bansky Bowen, I can't remember his name. I subscribe to him on Facebook, but I've never met him, and a few of my friends said that they've met him, and he's a really cool guy. But well, they're going to be the last 3 writers, from what I know of. I might be wrong, but that's what I was told. So that's really cool that they've got the guys that started it and the guys that are going to finish it. And if they've got Dan Abnett to finish it, because he started it, that's going to make my day. But I just want to get to the flipping Siege of Terra. I don't want to have to wait like 3-4 years of books being released, audio tapes being released, which I've really got to catch up on, because I haven't bought any in ages. I don't want to have to wait all that time just to get to the Siege of Terra. And it's like, when I read Fulgrim, I just literally went, okay, I'm getting bored. Oh, she's putting a poo up on a painting. Yeah, I'm bored. And I went, right, I'm just going to ditch 300 pages and just get to the end, because all I wanted to see was the Drop Site Massacre. And I think I started on the orgy page the night before the Drop Site Massacre, and then the next day it was the Drop Site Massacre. That was the story that I wanted. That was the story that I wanted to read. Up to that point, I know everybody sort of says, oh, Fulgrim's some of the best bit of writing, but I was just like, no. The Everstein or Einstein or whatever it's called, that for me was the best bit of writing, and obviously the very opening book, because I'm a bit of a Dan Abnett fan. But those 2 books were amazing for me. Fulgrim, I just couldn't get my head around. I think it was because it was concentrated on like the artists and stuff and the musicians. I know that's what they're all about. I can understand that's what they're all about, but for me, so boring. I was just like, oh, let's just get to the story. Come on, and I know he keeps reflecting and looking up at the tapestry and stuff like that, with the strange creature in it or whatever it was, and that's signifying, it's the demon that's talking to him and stuff. And I was just like bored. I just wanted someone to walk in there and go, no, that's enough. Stop putting your shit on the paper. That stops now. Okay, because I was where Horus has, become corrupted, and he gathers all the, the news reports. I mean, I look at it like this. It's like, he gathers all the news reporters and all the documentarians and stuff like that. People make the documentaries about what's happening. I don't know. The guys with the cameras in their foreheads and stuff like that, and their eyeballs. So I'm terrible for remembering stuff. So I apologise now, but I'm just going to call it the basics: cameraman, ultra warrior, and stuff like that. And where he has them all massacred, and a few of them managed to escape. I think Silverman and a few of the others, the first saint or whatever her name is. And we see the birth of what was it, the eagle, whatever I don't know, whatever that is. Oh, there's the eagle, or it's like that, wasn't it? They start doing that and putting their thumbs and fingers together, reveal part of the cult. Yeah. Anyway, isn't it just like that? But that, I don't know. So they go off, they escape. Space Marine helps them on board a ship. They escape with a load of other people. And then we get the corrupted Death Guard on there as well, that turn into warp demons and stuff like that. That's really cool. And then when they get to Earth or get to the moon, because they're not allowed on Earth, after they've seen the Rogal Dawn, who throws a wobbly and starts smashing up his room. It's just, you find yourself sort of going, okay, great, what's going to happen? We go from here. So I followed up on all the audio tapes. So listen to audio tapes. I'm sorry, that's how old I am. Audio stories, okay, the Black Library audio stories. I listened to all of them. I loved them. I got up to the point where we watched Malkador. We listened to Malkador's story, which was really cool with Captain Hassan. Good. And they then he takes them down through the palace, and that's amazing. That whole story is just amazing. And then he gets down to the gates, and before that he has to go down these stairs, all the way down these spiral stairs where he's got the guards, the Imperial Guard sort of thing, whatever they're called. God, I've forgotten all about this game. I've forgotten what they're called now. All the way down the stairs. They're all wounded, battle beaten. They just have been harassed and stuff like that, scorch marks on their armor. And we see like them standing guard by these great big doors, and we can hear his hellish sounds behind it. That whole bit was just amazing. And I love the story about the Thunder Warrior as well. I mean, the Thunder Warriors are really hard. I mean, excuse me for swearing, they're really hard. Old nails, old boots, or whatever you call it. And I've got to say, that was a really amazing. Space Marines had trouble taking this one guy down, which was cool. So, I mean, there's a lot of great stories, but what we want, Siege of Terror. I need a few books that follow up to it, almost there, then boom, Siege of Terror. That's what I want. And I expect the Siege of Terror to be 12 books. Just 12 books, I reckon. It'll be 12 books. It won't be. It'll be the last 3 books, which is the main thing, which is the final days of the Siege of Terror, which hopefully will be written by the original guys. But we need something to sled up to, because there's the moon, there's Mars, and I think even the Imperial Festa sent to Mars at one point to go and get armor and weapons by allies there in the Mechanicus, and they're fighting. They're already started fighting and stuff. So, oh man, there's going to be so much great stuff coming out for the Heresy. And that's what I kind of like. 40k was okay. I think 40k was a nice stepping stone into Heresy for me. 40k, I loved all the fluff, the characters and stuff like that. I got kind of peeved when they sort of just got rid of characters or stopped using chapters and stuff that didn't exist anymore, or just sort of said, oh, they're there, but we don't use them anymore. Or you can still paint them and play them and stuff, but there's no characters for them. You just have to use the basic ones. And I kind of like the fact that they created this vast history, because I spoke to, I think, one of their licensed guys once, and he sort of said, well, we make toy soldiers, that's what we do. And I said, well, you do more than that, because you've inspired a whole generation of kids, like a whole generation of different generations of children, and they've all gone off and they've done their own thing, or they've passed it on to their kids, or they've become artists, they've become writers, painters, model makers, builders, but they still remember all those stories, and they remember all that fluff. So it's more than that. You've inspired people. And I kind of I think the difference between real world and fantasy is you can escape the real world into fantasy, and it's there for you. So games and stuff like that is a nice way of focusing on getting rid of all your troubles and focusing on that element in front of you. Tabletop battles, reading a book, playing games, computer games. It's a way for you to forget your troubles and learn stripes in life and just focus on other things. Plus, you get to be creative, and I think that's really good for the brain. Being creative helps you develop, makes you more aware, keeps you. I think I stay young through playing these games because I'm often by people. But you know, the thing is, it keeps you young, keeps you healthy, and I think we're too quick to get old too quickly and grow up. I mean, I was a kid in the 70s, so I was allowed to be a child for as long as you were allowed to be a child, you know. So you were given a chance to explore, run around. There wasn't any things like kidnap. Well, there was, but you didn't really read about it that much. But there wasn't any kidnapping. There wasn't any sort of pedos and stuff. But looking back now, there's loads of it going on in England, but it was kept behind closed doors. It really wasn't pushed by the press. But we could wander around late at night, climbing trees, climbing up the hills and stuff like that, sword fighting, playing war games, not worrying about being taken away or having to grow up. And I think kids these days are forced to grow up. But geek now has become a lot cooler than it was when we were kids. So, you know, the geek generation, as this generation is known as now, the allowed to do all this. It's norm. It's the norm, which is good. So embrace it. Have fun with it. And I think, you know, if I can pull off a cosplay outfit at my age, well, the you know, the Mandalorian costume, if I can get it finished, it's just finding capital to invest into it. That's the trouble. I want to build like the most amazing outfit, and I've been buying bits and pieces, but when you start up your own business, you have to be really careful about what you buy and stuff like that. So you just can't go out and go, yeah, I'll grab that, yeah, I'll grab that. You know, you have to go, well, this month I'll get that. I'll wait a few months, then I'll buy that. So it's been quite tight, but I'm finally getting there. Plus, you know, my YouTube channel is my most important thing to me with my models. So I'm trying to showcase as much as possible, and I don't always get the chance to put videos up. So if we can do this, that's a nice way of communicating, isn't it? Or keeping in touch. And I can sit and rant forever. Okay, but guys, listen, this isn't going to get finished today, just like this guy wasn't finished last week. For those of you who just logged in now, here he is. I've got to say, I had some great advice from people saying, well, you should do this. So I went for the black up here, as you can see, because it just made it look that so much nicer. Now I'm going to replace, I think I'm going to try and get some more of these if I can, and use these banners in each squad, because it will just make it look really nice. It will give that whole Roman look.